Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, I'll be reviewing another kaiju film for you. And kaiju means giant monster in Japanese. And the fact I'm in this insane asylum, of course, is in itself a rather warning sign. And yeah, I'm actually playing with shit in this review, folks. Really messy, nasty smelling shit. Yeah, I don't got nothing else to do than just review a really bad movie. Sure, this is like the only thing I'm doing here. I actually had to get drunk prior doing this video, folks. So, yeah, there's that. Not exactly looking forward to this. I was actually trying to avoid this, if anything, folks. So, this is the film I'm going to be reviewing. This, of course, is the Japanese uncut, unedited version reviewing. Because again, like the previous three films, I'm going to be reviewing from this packet I have, Volume 1. So, again, I'm going to be reviewing this film, which is the fourth installment of the original Gamera series. It was actually retitled in the American version as this, Destroy All Planets. This was done just to capitalize on the success of Destroy All Monsters from the Godzilla series. But then the film was released as Godzilla Gamera, or was it Viras? And of course, it was released in a packet like this as well. But then re-released in other packets as well, like this one too, folks. So, this film was released quite a few times over the years. So anyway, again, this is going to be the Blu-ray version I'm reviewing. Unedited and uncut, of course. I figured I would review this one because even though it's not a very good movie, like, at all, I figured I would do it because if I reviewed one movie of the franchise, I might as well review them all. That's my rule for like any franchise. It doesn't matter what series it is of films. If I reviewed one of them, I might as well review them all. That's the thing, folks. So, I guess without further ado, as always, let's just get into the plot of this film. So, yeah, I have to talk about the plot. So, this film starts off rather straight into action quite immediately. By which I mean we get to see that there's these aliens. Yep, we're starting off in outer space. This is probably the first time in a Gamera series we see flying aliens. So they know what Gamera has been doing. They're fully aware of his history from the previous films. But of course, coincidentally, guess who's flying around? Gamera himself. And of course, at this point, these characters engage in battle quite immediately, which of course makes sense. Yeah, these alien things, they look kind of weird, I guess, with the red and yellow kind of things going on. Well, what do you know, it suddenly became something of the giant bees or something from outer space. Yeah, that's attacking everybody. Well, it would have made as much sense, even though it just comes off really nonsensical when you think about it. Well, anyway, like I was saying, they engaged in this fight right here in outer space with the lasers or whatever. And then Gamera somehow manages to get in one of them, peeks his head inside, and basically from within, he lights him on fire. Yep, he actually sets all the crew members on fire right here, folks. Oh yeah, they actually allowed this part to be in the film, folks. They sure did. But of course, the alien characters do call out for backup. So, reinforcements will have to come because they want to use Earth, of course. But then, suddenly their ship does explode eventually. This little thing just explodes. Blows up. Oh, there you go. Kinda like what happens when I look at my wife's face. Ew. That's gross. Why did I marry her? She's my ex-wife now, but she just reminds me of this ugly thing. I actually called her stupid one time, really stupid. But then she told me that, but then she was the one that told me that I was the individual who got married to her, so, yeah, she got me there, so, Anyway, then, moving on from that point, folks, eventually we get to see, there's some opening credits. It actually opens with that, folks. Yes, sirree. But we get to see the real stars of this movie. We have these little kids. Yep, we start off the story with these kids. Yeah, they're like Boy Scouts kind of a thing going on here. Which, I don't mind the Boy Scouts aspect of this kind of a thing, but did it be had a little bit, does it have to be little kids? I always find that really weird. So again, this movie has more of a softer, more lighter tone compared to the other movies. Yeah, but we do see these characters as well, folks, these Gore Scouts. Which honestly, I would have liked it more if the film was focusing on them more. If you ask me, because you know they're older. So yeah, I don't know, maybe just me being picky, but I would have liked these focus on them better. I guess one of the things is that they were adults. I don't know, it just came out would have been way more interesting with them. So yeah, we just got from an outer space attack, but right into this. It's kind of weird. It's having a weird setup, if you ask me. And then there's like this little device that communicates with them. And yeah, then of course the boys would just be rebellious, of course, and very playful. Well, I'll give this film credit. Do like the fact that these two individuals form two different racial backgrounds. So yeah, that's a good thing. So anyway, but they're troublemakers, of course. They get into this little submarine thingy, even though they're not supposed to. But you know, they get into it anyway. So they start streaming around. Yeah, we focus on this right now. But of course, eventually we see Gamera, and of course, and the young boys. They decided to have a race with Gamera after taking a few photos. Yeah, seriously. Out of all the things they could have done, a little race. Yeah, seriously. This is just getting stupid, really stupid. But of course, still this happened, folks. And yeah, if it feels padded, that's because it is. This film feels really padded, folks, if you ask me. So that's a bad sign right there. It feels extremely, extremely padded. Oh boy. So yeah, it feels more padded than this bed, folks. Yes, sorry. But of course, we eventually get to see the aliens again. It's a different group of aliens because in the whole reinforcement thing. And they, of course, you know, want to attack Gamera. So it becomes like a revenge kind of a thing, I guess. So they put him like in the shield thing, while the kids are still underwater with him. But of course, he does his best to, you know, have the kids break free from this shield thing. And yeah, again, it's getting really stupid. Really, really stupid. He does manage to let them break free, of course. Again, it's getting really stupid. Why is he so concerned with him? Anyway, but eventually they want to take mind control of him. So yeah, now he's under the spell of the aliens at this point. So, what I was gonna say, folks, this movie's terrible. I really didn't like it at all. Basically, in a nutshell, it's just a really generic storyline that's about this group of aliens from another planet hit for Earth with the intentions of conquering it. Their first ship is destroyed by Gamera, of course. Then there's his second ship that makes it to Earth and captures two boys. Yep, they actually captures those two young boys as I brought up earlier. So, of course, they hold them captive so that Gamera will not attack them. Yeah, seriously, that's actually part of the story. Again, this movie is getting stupid. The aliens then, you know, implant like some sort of remote control on the monster's neck, like I said before, to control him, and use him to attack cities, of course. And yeah, that's basically the summary of the story, really. Just a really poor excuse of a film. It's shallow, folks. That's one of my biggest complaints about this film. It's extremely shallow. There's nothing special about the overall story, really. It's just really boring overall. And I'll say this was a poor excuse of a film. I don't like it. It's really bad. The space monster in which Gamera fights in this film, I can say he has an interesting look, I guess you can say. But however, his overall story doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He's a squid. Yep, He's like a squid, some creature from underneath the sea. But he came from outer space, so he's an alien. That doesn't make any sense. That seems like a contradiction. How much more of an opposite can you be? For this film, folks, the obvious target audience for this film makes no sense. If you ask me, not really. Because it's aimed for kids. You know how kids are nowadays, so spoiled with everything. You'd think they'd be really paying attention to any of this. And a lot of them would just throw such a tantrum over the most trivial and small things. Acting uncivilized and whatnot. And do you really think they'll be wanting to be paying attention to this? Of course not. And just, again, I don't understand any of this really. So, the film is going to focus on these race of aliens that want to basically conquer Earth in order to repopulate, I guess. I don't know. But, and that's the thing. This film comes off cheaper than the previous 3 films that they made, and that's because stock footage. They actually use stock footage in this film, and it's quite a bit. And you can actually tell they're trying to pass it off as if it was actual new footage, but in reality, it's just recycled footage from the previous film. I mean, just got me thinking. Oh boy, these filmmakers of this movie, they just got no shame, do they? It's pretty obvious. It's extremely obvious on what they're trying to do here. Yep, you're trying to disguise it as something brand new, as if you can't even tell. So, but anyway, yeah, that's the thing, folks. So, the film just felt padded because the film had some footage from the previous movie, and what's going on with the new footage just feels slow, so it feels even more padded, as I was saying much earlier, folks. So, as I was saying, the kids in this film, they do get kidnapped by these aliens, and they are held hostage just so the world's government won't attack it, and to make Gamera won't attack it as well. So, with that in mind, these kids, they just roam around freely. Yeah, they just roam around all freely, which, again, doesn't make any sense. You'd think there'd be some guards or whatnot. I mean, granted, there are some guards here, sure, but they don't do anything to the kids. They would just allow them just to walk around all freely. And that's the thing, and the entire thing is yellow. Why isn't the entire ship from within yellow? I don't get that. And of course, the alien's supposed to be the boss or whatever, and they're like speaking to them through their minds and whatnot, I guess. Well, some sort of communication anyway. So, damn it, Mr. Monkey! I'm tempted to tell you, I'm not gonna buy you these shitty movies. Seriously, you're getting annoying. Go and get. Go and get. Hey, I said go and get. You primate bastard. Yeah, and of course the kids do speak to him. Okay, maybe not speaking to him directly, but they do see him. But even then, the villains still do nothing to the kids. And when you think about it, why would they be so concerned with children? I don't get it. I know the targeted audience was kids for this film, even though some of the stuff in it was pretty violent. So, give you some mixed messages here. So, anyway, as I was saying, so nobody in the world wants to attack this ship just because of this. Yeah, nobody, no military, no army, no navy, not even Gamera himself, absolutely nobody attacks this ship, this spaceship from outer space, attacks the ship just because of these 2 kids. Seriously, that's the actual reason in the film that nobody would actually fight these kids. Just because these kids are in it, they don't want to fight the ship. Which again, it just sounds asinine. This entire thing just sounds asinine. So you mean to tell me the entire world is gonna really keep thinking about this kids. I mean, I'm not saying there's murder kids or anything, but whatever happened to the whole idea, the need of the few is outweighed by the need of the many. I mean, at some point, the kids were actually willing to sacrifice themselves for the safety of humanity. So, I don't get it. This makes no sense. It's just stupid. Come on. That's kind of brave of them, but still. In Star Wars Rogue One, they basically use this tactic called War of Attrition. So they keep going back and forth until the enemy is severely weak. So this kind of tactic could have been used in the film to bring the villains down. So why would this villain of the story be so concerned with little kids? They're just two kids. Those like hundreds of thousands of kids in the entire world. So again, why would it be so concerned with just two kids? Just trying to use them as bait, just so Gamera himself won't attack them. So the aliens and the villain character, this alien squid thing, want to conquer Earth because out of all the planets in the entire universe, this specific planet, Earth, looks very similar and behaves very similar with the weather and all that to their original planet. So they want to basically, I guess, have their own race of beings, I guess, repopulate and whatnot, and then they could have easily done that kind of a thing without the kids, but they're going to basically use the kids as bait to make sure that Gamera won't do anything, which in itself seems ridiculously stupid, because how would they know that specifically kids can be used against Gamera so he wouldn't do anything? How will they know that from the very beginning? I do not know. I guess because they would put that thing on his neck and they found some memories about him, I guess. That's why. Still doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever, I guess. And they actually expect the entire world just to bow down to their needs just because of that. So, anyway. And of course, they're going to somehow, the only hope in the entire world, I get the entire safety of survival of humanity rests on these two kids coming up with some sort of plan to attack the aliens from within the ship, since they're in there being kidnapped and whatnot. Anyway, so I actually got them. There we go. Stupid movie. God, there you go. Stupid. God. And of course, just all the entire military everywhere just wanted to be attack them, as though the governments around the world would just spontaneously agree to not attack them just because they have these two kids. That's basically the idea here. Again, that's just ridiculous. The entire premise of this film is just crazy. I mean, and to some degree, I do like the premise of this film, but it could have been reworked. Yeah, some aspects of the movie could just be, fixed up, of course, obviously, because this entire thing just comes off asinine. I mean, there's some parts I don't mind of the film, really. But this could have been a good movie if they just reworked everything. Just, it just came off, they just quickly done everything. So maybe the script was really rushed through, which I won't be surprising because the dialogue was horrendous. The dialogue's pretty bad here, folks. And as for the acting, of course the acting is pretty bad too, if you ask me. The acting is really, really bad. So, especially from the kids, I guess you can say the kids, it looks like they just didn't care. I mean, okay, maybe they did care, but they just had no experience when it comes to acting, I guess. I haven't seen them in other movies, so that could be something there. So, anyway, they couldn't even at least make the kids smart. That's the thing. That's the thing, folks. They could have at least made the kids smart. So, I don't know. Whatever, I guess. But, of course, I'll just speak about the fighting. When it comes to giant monsters, the fighting is it's pretty over the top. The fighting in this film just comes off pretty crazy. And I give of course, the villains here, they get their heads chopped off. They actually get decapitated on screen, which seems pretty violent for a kids movie. But anyway, of course, the aliens, the space alien squid, fights Gamera, of course, and then the villain in the story, he's pretty uninspiring. I don't like this villain really. I do like his look. I mean, he has a pretty cool look, but that's the thing. He doesn't really do much, really. There's nothing too special about his abilities. He has his squid. That's all I can really say is really, I guess. I mean, he has a giant drill in his head, of course, and he uses it to fight Gamera. And I know it's coming out. I might be a little spoily with the plot here, folks, but as I was saying way earlier, it's really shallow. It's extremely shallow. So there's nothing really for me to spoil at all. But anyway. Alright, yeah. Whew. How to use the bathroom here, folks. Yes, sir. Ah, what the hell? Hey, what the hell? What's wrong with you, man? Give me some fun. I'm trying to finish the review here. Really? 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 Oh, just finish it up right there, so I can finish the review. Don't have all day, you know. Oh, fuck it. That's so rude of you. Oh, come on. This film is so not worth watching. I mean, unless you want to have nothing else better to do, I guess. But whatever. This film is just downright cheesy in a lot of ways. Everything about this film is cheesy. So, of course, the villains in this film are to destroy the world. I don't know why. Why are they demanding the world to be destroyed? I have no idea. So, on the military, they do nothing. The Japanese military literally do nothing in this movie. Well, unless you want to count the stock footage, I guess, but they actually don't do anything in this film at all, folks. They really don't. So, and I would say that you can always fast forward the stock footage, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, I'd just say that this film is not enjoyable by any means of the imagination. All the adults in here are all ridiculous and moronic, and it just comes off like a sitcom to some degree. Yeah, like a sitcom for kids to some degree, because the parents are all stupid, really stupid parents overall. It pissed me off that I actually wrecked a car, folks. Yep, I wrecked an actual car in here. Oh boy. Seems kind of nonsensical when you consider the fact that it's supposed to make all the adults dumb. Even if they don't have kids, the adults still act stupid. Really, really moronic, if you ask me. Yeah, this has to be one of the dumbest sequels to a movie ever. And it may not be the absolute worst movie I've ever seen, but it's pretty bad. It's awful. And I feel like this, like I mentioned a few moments ago, they could have easily maybe tweak up a few things here and there, rework a few things, and maybe make a good movie. They could have actually had a decent movie here, but it came out the entire production was just rushed. Let's just get things out of the way. Come on, let's get things done. The entire thing felt very, very rushed. Like no second takes, no retakes or anything. They just did the entire thing super fast, as quickly as humanly possible. That's how it came off. So, yeah, I felt really rushed, folks. It sure did. So anyway, this film, it gets an overall rating of a 4.5 out of 10. It gets a 4.5 out of 10 for me. And as always, thanks for watching, and take care. Until next time, see ya. I need some medication after this.